full of stars on me. Globe in my palm as it falls on me. Is you ready for all my brothers? I'm breaking up. Is you ready for war?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 3 of our Sabbat Chronicle of Vampire the Masquerade, Cradle of Caine. We thank you all for sitting in, for enjoying our broadcast, and I would like to take the time to just give a quick disclaimer and warning that the game you're about to see is not for the faint of heart, and at any point in time, if you feel uncomfortable, I urge you to turn the stream off and maybe consume some of the content on this channel that a little bit is more lighter of heart. That being said, I will let my cast introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, I'm Prince, aka Doubles and Dicer on the internet. I am playing your friendly neighborhood Samisi, Amari Ringo.
I am Lily. You can find me at Lily the GM on Twitter and Twitch and other places. I am playing Evelyn, our fresh baby vampire finding her way around the world.
Awesome. Arthur and Addie, or should I say Gabriel and Rena, will be joining us next episode. This is a smaller party for a smaller chapter. We open up almost a week later from our last chapter on a familiar yacht where, Amari, you are paying host to the pack priest, Javier Perez. Your search for Simon has brought you many interesting facts, many interesting leads, but nothing concrete. It seems this particular Sabbat Lord is well hidden amongst the rats, as it were. And as you kind of go and Javier arrives, you have this dressed in his usual kind of wild affair, not befitting of a priest for sure, as he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt with his sunglasses again, at night of course, in the utmost of pretentiousness. And as he arrives, he calls out to you, "Amari, it's good to see I finally get an invitation to this place. It has been so long."
Welcome in, Javi. I see you are learning the hiding in plain sight look, huh?
Of course, we are not anything if not, social butterflies, as it were. Some of my compatriots believe they should just stick in the mud and be statues amongst the living all night. I prefer a little bit of action, a little bit of fun, pizzazz. You know, I didn't survive all my years here in Philadelphia just by sitting around and waiting for the beckoning to take me.
Exactly. What's the fun in that?
But for this conduction of meetings, I'm hoping, is there a place any more private?
Of course. Let me take you to my office.
And Amari, what does your office look like?
Amari's office is, in one word, extra. It has a lot of his paintings that he's done, along with many collected, I would say, jewels and baubles, lots of different items made of gold, little statuettes. It looks like he's gotten a eclectic collection of things that someone would buy off of Etsy. but all made of like expensive jewels and metals. So you have like little statues of people doing things, phallic vessels around the room, vases, just a bunch of really, and then like a just walnut desk that just is gigantic, that just sits in there with a very large chair that almost feels like a throne that he sits in when he gets in here.
Is there like, is the second chair like obviously very small and inferior?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And one last question. Are there any mirrors in this room?
None.
Javi gives a quick look around as he enters and kind of breathes a sigh of relief as he quickly takes to checking the paintings and examining the vases and the accoutrement and just your entire collection, kind of like a doting tourist. Interesting stuff you have here. Ooh, a beautiful and Amari original. That's where I hear they're very rare to get.
If you know the right people, you can get your hands on one.
Is it true that when these paintings were painted, the ink itself was mixed with vitae? Is the rumor?
Of course. Don't tell anyone.
Interesting what these paintings could do under the right effects. Were you a Tremere? I believe I'd be caught in quite a pickle.
Were I near, I would probably not be doing what I'm doing right now.
Of course. And well, we both know that you're hiding a bit of your true self.
Well, of course. Again, the hiding in plain sight thing until the right moment, and we are working on the right moment, I'm sure.
Are you ashamed of your bloodline?
Of course not.
But the mention of it would scare people, I would assume.
I think the sight of the things that I've done or what I could do would scare even those of our own sect.
Yes. Agreed. Although the Sabbat, we like to preach that bloodlines don't matter. I mean, that's the truth of it. We're all children of Cain at the end of the day. We forget that often. Even myself. And he focuses on one particularly gruesome painting. What is that painting of, Amari?
I would imagine that is a painting of some ghouls that I've had in earlier days of my own life, and they're some early examples of my flesh crafting when I was first learning. So maybe there's several limbs misplaced or intestines tied around a neck to fashion to look like a necktie, that sort of thing. They're tied together when I'm trying to bring them together, but it doesn't quite work. It looks pretty bad. But this is how Amari records his failures in art.
Something poetic about making beauty out of a mess, I would assume. Kind of leans into this one, takes a deep breath and goes, points to the chair. I'm not going to be sitting on anyone, am I?
Not unless you want to.
An interesting offer, but perhaps another time. And he takes a seat at the desk. I was told that our new blood, our Evelyn, would be joining us. And in your head, Amari, you remember making this meeting with Evelyn. But
Indeed.
she hasn't arrived. Perhaps the new blood got cold feet?
You know, somehow I doubt that. I imagine Evelyn might be out there getting used to her powers.
And as the Ductus, the leader of the pack, how was your meetings with Viper and Dimitri?
Interesting to say the least. They want things to ensure agreements, but Evelyn has shown herself to be quite capable.
Good. We need good Sabbat. We need better soldiers for the wars to come.
I bet against her in the firewalking.
Did you? A fire? Well, I haven't heard that term in such a long time. We haven't been able to elect that sort of ritual. Tell me, was that Dimitri's?
It was Dimitri's, right?
Oh no, it was Viper.
It was Viper's. No, okay. Yeah, I was like, wait a second, no. No, Viper.
That crafty one. Be careful. Those followers that she claims she has, that they're nothing but blood-bonded slaves. Horrible. That's
I
an
got
act.
that vibe. Oh yeah, it's a talent. It's useful, to be honest.
She can make even someone that's immune to blood bonding into something she can control. That's how she employs. I don't know who she diablerized or what she did across the years, but
Wouldn't that be useful?
Of course, all useful, all powerful. You can get them on the same page, but never trust them. Never let yourself in the room alone with them.
Yeah, well, if she gets out of line, there's ways to take power.
Of course. And at that point, you get a knock on the door. Sir, may I come in? You have a delivery.
Yes, please.
And you see one of your kind of lead men bring in one of your ghouls. And he has an envelope. Sir, this was dropped off. Said that it should be delivered to you immediately. And he places the envelope on the desk. And, oh, I'm sorry for disturbing your company.
Please. How are our guests tonight?
They're ecstatic and, well, nearly exsanguinated, some of them, but everything is under complete control.
Excellent. Thank you.
Haven't heard any news from Jenkins in a while, sir.
Jenkins, which one was that?
That is the police officer that is procuring your bodies.
Jenkins. Did he get himself in trouble? Of course he did. Replacing police and politicians is so difficult. See if you can find him. If not, well, bring me someone else.
Of course, sir. I'll have my men put on it. And he kind of bows and leaves. Run a tight ship here.
It's, being in a big city, you learn how businesses work. And this is nothing if not a business.
You sure you're not a Ventrue?
Yeah.
Sorry. Disgusting jest, of course.
Look down at the envelope.
The envelope is, it's old, to say the least. Definitely like some 60s, 70s, and it has dirt on it. Specifically, it says it says Pico on one of the corners, which you're like an energy bill. But it's listing the location as the Delaware Pico Processing Power Plant, which, to your knowledge, has been shut down for a number of years.
This is fascinating. I open it.
There's just a note inside, and kind of scrawled across in what looks to be like the remnants of dried vitae, it reads, "Tag, you're it." And in the corner, you can see scribed in a singular letter, S.
Javier,
Yes.
you've seen something like this before.
Oh, is this a ransom note or a? And he kind of takes it. S. It looks like maybe your searching has paid off.
Indeed. Everyone wants to gamify things these days.
Well, we are not one if not theatrical. They say the Camarillo are the most overblown of the sex, but in reality, it's us.
If only they knew that I am quite good at games.
I dare say maybe this is related to why one of us is not here today or tonight.
Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out.
I guess there is. Well, as your pack priest in these matters, well, I feel like maybe I should take a bystander role many of the times. I will accompany you, if you would allow me.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go pay Simon a visit.
Can you drive?
Of course. Although, I don't tend to like using my rearview mirrors.
I toss him the keys.
And you depart and drive off to where you believe Simon is. And Evelyn, waking up is a bit easier now from your literal dead sleep as you kind of wake up in your apartment. What adjustments have you done in the past week or so to kind of compensate for your new way of living, or unliving as it were?
Honestly, not a huge amount. I never really used to spend that much time in this little tiny apartment anyway, so besides getting rid of food and pulling most of the things I like to spend my time on into my bedroom area, not too much.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to watch things out of the window a bit more than I used to, though. Feels a little like my senses are sharper. Maybe it's paranoia, but I like to keep an eye on the streets now more than I did.
And as you come out of that sleep, I would like for you to give me a rouse check, please.
I am hungrier. Can feel it in the back of my throat.
Ooh, okay. So now you're down to, you're up to 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the little nipping of the inner beast kind of calling out to you. It's not a loud roar yet. It's still a mew. It's still just a small crying noise, as if we need to eat. Please let us eat. That'd be so good if we could eat. But
And we will.
you're able to kind of easily put that to bed, as it were. Getting up about 8 o'clock. You wake up pretty much at the arrival of night. And you look and you see that your mail has been deposited through your door. Several bills, notices, etc. Has Evelyn been having issues paying her bills because of her new way of working, or?
She's definitely having to think about it. I was kind of living on the last of some family money, and that having run out, and I hadn't really considered that I might stay too much longer, and obviously the situation has changed a little bit, and now I will be staying, so yeah, that's going to need dealing with. I think I leaf through them a little irritatedly, file them into another pile of forgotten paperwork over on the side.
And kind of as you're doing that, you hear a knock at your door, and the voice of your neighbor.
Oh, great. I walk over and press my eye against the peephole.
You see your neighbor, a Mr. Jonathan Thomas, a basic white-bread businessman working a white-collar job at a insurance firm, but he's always been amicable to you and seemingly nice, dropping off food regardless whenever you've needed it. Evelyn, are you here?
I neaten up a little. I'm looking at the mirror before I open the door. Evening.
Oh, I finally caught you. I'm sorry. I just wanted, I guess, to call this a wellness check. I was concerned. I haven't seen you usual times and stuff like that. I haven't seen you at all during even the landlord. He said he was looking for you or hasn't seen you in a while. Is everything okay?
Oh, yeah, no, fine. I've just been a little busier at night recently. Been sleeping in a bit more.
And kind of looks at you, he's like, are you feeling under the weather?
Has there been something going around?
No, I'm just, gosh, you're so pale. Are you okay? Do you need to eat?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Don't worry. I trying out a new look, I guess. Halo Foundation. What do you think? Does it look good?
Yeah, looks great. Good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, he kind of holds out something that's been sticking his hand. We had extras, so I figure I'd bring you a plate. We made lasagna. I know you usually liked it. And kind of deposits your hand.
Thanks. That's really sweet of you.
No problem. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, well, fine. Have things been busy for you? I sort of turn and deposit the lasagna as close as possible, and then turn back to him.
Things have been all right. We had a recent issue. I'm sure you've heard, but there was some fires recently, and my grandmother, her apartment kind of got smoke damage from one of the apartments getting set on fire, so she's kind of been displaced over here, but it's fine. It seems to be happening across the city now, which is interesting. I guess that old pipes, old infrastructure, gas leaks, whatnot. I personally thought it was arson, but apparently it's nothing to fear like that.
Any patterns to it? Just apartments?
It's what it seems like. Random places across the city. Usually they're been abandoned, it seems, so maybe it's stuff that's people haven't lived in or shouldn't have been living in. Maybe places that, I don't know, it could be insurance fraud. I really don't have any idea, but it's, of course, it's put us on a little bit of harsher times, obviously, so we had to take my grandmother in and whatnot, and you know how these things go.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother being displaced. If I can help, let me know, won't you?
No, it's perfectly fine. Just enjoy the lasagna. And, please take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you.
And he departs and goes back to his apartment. And you're just left with this plate of in your human life, which should have been like delicious food, like you could smell it, but now it just doesn't really smell like anything tasty to you.
I, almost out of habit, sit down at the counter, portion myself a piece, and set about just pulling it to pieces with a knife and fork, methodically. Where there should be bites taken instead, I just sort of deposit the bit on the fork and mash it up a bit more, and just go through the motions, try and smell it.
Did you try and eat it?
No, it doesn't appeal, and I feel hungry, and remembering the hunt that I've been on with the rest of the pack, I know this isn't what I want.
And yeah, as the fumes of well cooked and probably a secret recipe handed down from generation to generation kind of fills your nostrils. It just smells rotten and putrid and just unappetizing in the sense. And while you can feel an emotional connection from it, and to your original human mortal life, things are different now, and eventually, it'll be put into your fridge, forgotten.
Yeah. I pick up the bigger tray and put that in the fridge, just for now. Leave this plate on the side. I've got other things to be doing, and I don't want to be cleaning up now.
And so do you leave your apartment?
Yeah. I need to eat.
Of course. And as you kind of leave your apartment, you see, the normal locals, your underground artists and whatnot, and the gangs of, 18 to 20-something-year-olds kind of chilling around, enjoying their night, as they usually do. What kind of prey are you looking for?
I've spent a lot of time with locals here, to the point where I kind of don't want to be eating off anyone I'm likely to see again. I'm looking for someone I don't know that well.
Okay. I mean, that's, if you go further out into the city, I'm sure you would be able to find, definitely some people. What kind of person are you looking for, per se? Are you looking for a drunk businessman? Are you looking for a homeless person? Are you looking for, someone who's relatively uninebriated?
I'm looking for someone, maybe it's the lasagna sitting in the back of my nostrils, but I'm looking for someone coming off shift from a restaurant.
Definitely, as it kind of, you get to like that 9 o'clock area, you're getting the people that are getting off their normal day shift and walking out. And you do see a busboy kind of smoking out back of one of these restaurants. This famous, more closer to Center City, you see this like famous chain family restaurant. The name of Mangiano's is displayed across the front of it, and kind of out to the side, you see this busboy and like the black pants and the white button up, just having a smoke with like the rag thrown across his shoulder.
Perfect. I can smell that same familiar smell on the air coming out of the restaurant, and I figure that's close enough to having some homemade lasagna.
And so do you just blitz him in the alleyway?
Yeah, I'm not interested in making friends. I'm just hungry.
Cool. Go ahead and give me a strength and an athletics roll. Just so you can catch him, and go ahead and give yourself 2 extra dice because you are just hitting him out of nowhere.
Okay.
The idea to be to tackle him to the ground.
2 successes.
Awesome. You're able to kind of blindside him, and he crashes into amongst some of the garbage and the wet puddles and whatnot as you kind of pin him to the ground, and he's like scraping at whoever his assailant. His cigarette falls out of his mouth and just kind of sitting there still burning, and you just sink your fangs.
I don't think he got a good look at me with how quickly I moved, but could I know that for sure?
It's pretty dark, and are you wearing what kind of clothing are you wearing?
I've pulled on a trench coat over the top of my usual clothes, but otherwise I tend to just wear black trainers, something fairly nondescript underneath.
Yeah. If you're in black, or if you have like a hood on your coat or anything, you're fairly easy that maybe he'll get a glimpse at you, but just because you have him pinned down and you're kind of on top of him, so he could see you, but you're not sure if it's enough to give any descriptors. How many people with dyed hair are in the city? Spoiler alert, a lot.
I figure I'm close enough that I can get away with just feeding to the point where he might be a little lightheaded. And I can rush off.
You only have to sate one dot of hunger, unless you do choose to completely fulfill and empty your track. At that point, you wouldn't have to worry about him remembering your face at all.
No. And I have been tempted. There was a look of satisfaction on the face of my packmates that I don't think I've felt before, but I do remember what they've told me. And doing that kind of thing alone is a bad idea. I need them here if I'm going to try that, just in case something goes wrong.
So you pull a nice little drink from him, barely enough that he'll maybe be woozy for the rest of the night, but he should be fine waking up. You go for the neck, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit messy, but a little more controlled this time. Definitely has smatterings of blood across your face and as well as his neck, and he's just kind of like dazed out of it. But the process takes more or less maybe 2-3 minutes. It's not extended feeding for sure.
When I'm done, I lick the wounds clean and prop him up against the dumpster. He'll be fine.
And he looks like he enjoyed it. He's kind of sitting there like, and as you're leaving, he kind of calls you. He's like, "What just happened?"
You tripped. I call over my shoulder and keep going.
And you leave. Yourself fairly fed for the night. Now, you head off to meet Amari.
Mm-hmm.
Amari, you were told on a good guess, as it were, that the best place to find information on Simon Valcazar was a biker bar, of all places.
Excellent.
Now, the question is, do you go dressed for the occasion, or do you walk in your usual, typical, like,
Oh yeah,
regal clothing? You just don't get, yeah.
I don't care. I'm not intimidated by bikers. They can see me and my full-on golden Prince regalia.
Awesome. So you make your way over to deep into South Philly, and I mean deep, like onto Oregon Ave, to a place known as Tanky's Tavern, as you see it kind of sprawled across. And you can see it. There's food going around. There's drinks. There's it's already people are starting. There's a shit ton of motorcycles kind of lined up. As you can see, the usual patrons are having a good old bit of fun with them. And it only takes a couple of minutes for Evelyn to join you.
Amari?
How do you like this place?
Yeah. I've always liked a place that you can get more into sort of the bones of a city, you know? Feels a little bit more cultured.
That's what you can call it. These people lack culture. They don't know the meaning of it.
That's what's so fascinating about it, isn't it?
If you say so.
Maybe I've been spoiled by your place and I'm just looking for something different now.
My place is not a place of culture. It is a place of debauchery and hedonism and flesh.
That's not culture.
I suppose you can call it something like that.
If it's not culture, we're going to have to find something else to amuse ourselves with, and I don't think that bodes well for you. You're stuck in your habits, aren't you, old man?
We're supposed to be able to learn something about Simon here.
Okay. Somebody we're supposed to speak to, or are we just supposed to keep our ears to the ground?
Were we given a name of someone, or
No, you were just told that he frequents around many of these bars around Philadelphia, and that
okay?
someone's probably heard of his gang. The leader of Night Division. Night Division, you know, is the name of his Sabbat.
Mhm.
But in reality, maybe has a different connotation and context to the mortals. You're not sure. Evelyn, so when Amari talks about like this place lacking culture, you can kind of tell as you're looking around that there definitely is some sort of culture here, in terms just probably not as prim and proper or elegant as Amari would like, but for you, this might actually be much more up your alley.
Everywhere has its own culture and has its own language, and this kind of bar is no exception. I'm scanning, looking for signs that I might recognize. The artists have their tags and their symbols, and so do bike gangs. As you
And
I shouldn't
Amari's-
see something I recognize.
Amari's definitely doing the same. He doesn't like this kind of place, but it's like he gets that. He's just like, gross.
Both of you go ahead and give me a wits plus investigation, and then if you have specialties for you, Evelyn, you can add as well.
It's an investigation.
Can I make an argument for rolling streetwise for Evelyn instead?
Of course, that would be perfect.
Okay.
And Amar, if you wanted to roll streetwise as well, you can.
I'll do
I'll give you
is
the
I'll
option. No,
rouse
you can
wits.
do. Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
because I don't have any points in the streetwise either.
2 successes.
I get hungrier.
Uh-oh.
But it's 4 dice now. 2 successes.
Awesome. So you both notice the same things, but maybe a little bit of more contextual for Evelyn. Amari, you notice that like it's almost like high school in this place, or I mean, I don't know if you actually have been to a high school, but from what you assume you've seen off those TV dramas on the CW and whatnot, because come on, who hasn't turned on an episode of Riverdale or Degrassi back in the day, just for once, just to see how it is and check how the mortals like their entertainment. There's a lot of cliques. Like you can tell that each of these gangs and stuff like that, they're like specifically bikers, that they do something that no other gang really does, as well as they have their own like jackets and uniforms and symbols, and you can tell while they're kind of like mashed up against each other, for the most part they keep to their own crowds, as it were, just like groups of 5 to 6. There are bigger ones of like 10 to 12 though, and but it's almost like in this ecosystem of all these groups that even though they're all separate from one another, they're managing to coexist, which is interesting, because kind of like you're like, it would be really easy to incite a fight, is something you notice around here. with the exception of one person who seems to be just on her lonesome, drinking at the kind of bar, the actual like bar area. And then Evelyn, what you can find out is that kind of from some of the more tags and murals and stuff, that this is almost designated as like a neutral zone, like a kind of like this like a safe place where you would almost akin it to like a ceasefire, that no matter what happens here, that this should not be a place of violence, or everyone should be nice to one another here regardless of their problems, and if you do have problems, you take it somewhere else.
Looks like a brawl is off the menu.
Is it?
Allegedly. We'll see though.
Allegedly.
Night's young.
Anyone you see that looks out of place? Outside of us, of course.
I mean, you both see that woman. That just seems to be like the outlier.
Mm-hmm.
I nod my head in her direction.
Excellent. Well, I think what Amari will do is he'll go up to the bar before he goes over to this woman. He's like, what do you normally serve here? Like, what do people who frequent this place drink?
And he's pretty busy, but he goes, pretty much everything. You want beer? We got all these imported. And he kind of pushes a menu here. This is everything we serve here. The beer is the most popular.
Martini.
For sure.
Go.
And
2.
Does a double take. That's not usually what he makes, but he does it. You know,
I was trying to be more difficult, just to mess with this.
Every bartender knows how to make a martini. They should anyway. He trained one, and he does he kind of huffs and puffs, but he sloppily pushes 2 drinks towards you. You know, with the napkins and all, kind of spilling a little bit out. The bar looks like it's seeing better days as the rush of people are kind of going through.
And I drop a Benjamin on the bar, and I'll just keep the change.
He nods a little bit more nice for wear as he quickly and gingerly deposits 2 olives in each of them, a little bit of extra garnish.
And I give one to Evelyn. Hold it for the look. Pretend to sip it periodically.
Okay. I sort of fish the olive out of it and...
Oh yeah, you
Okay.
You do not want to do that. You're like, ugh. I mean, olives in itself, I don't know about you, but olives in itself aren't the most great smelling
Especially not
thing.
the green ones.
Yeah, it's just... I hope he doesn't put black olives in martini. We might be at a different story. But
you said no fighting in here?
Yeah,
I wish you
right?
would.
that's just how it goes. But this woman's interesting, kind of, as you're like taking a drink and giving a closer look. She's dressed in like jeans, combat boots, you know, kind of Amari. She kind of looks like a typical Bruja, but you're not sure because she's got the, you know, the band T-shirt on, kind of the duster jacket, looking like she just got off of work probably, and she also has a drink in her hand, just this very tall, like, can, almost like a 40, but not quite, of some domestic beer. But if you continue to trade glances over at her, you notice that she's also really has not been sipping. She'll raise the can to her lips, and she'll make the motion, but she won't.
Cool. I'm just like, we should go over, introduce ourselves.
I'll let you do the talking unless you tell me otherwise.
Oh, but you're so good at it. And then I go over, and I'm just like, "Hello. You want to talk to me? I know you do. I'm so interesting. I'm the most interesting person here." And I activate awe.
She turns and looks at you and goes, and you can see her eyes are focused on you. Amari, how popular do you think you are? Like, how popular does your reputation precede you?
I think I'm not like around the world famous, but people in Philadelphia certainly know me. I've been in news articles and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And-
because I was like, I put a point into fame to basically just be locally famous.
That's basically what I wanted to clear up. And like, just to kind of detail your fame a little bit more. What do the papers say about you?
Well, generally, that I'm not particularly liked by local politicians, people who are particularly religious, things of that nature. So it's a lot of like negative news about me. But the rest of, a lot of people tolerate me because I bring a lot of money to the economy. Because I do invest in places and things to basically keep my front up. I am like one of those people. I put about a bunch into schools and bought new computers and things of that nature, just to like throw off the tails. Essentially,
a philanthropist and all that. Like,
yeah. But people hate my art. They hate it. All of my art installations have not been particularly well received, but Amari doesn't care. People still talk about me, and any publicity is good publicity as far as he's concerned.
Exactly. And as you're kind of you look over, she kind of turns to look. Her red hair kind of frames her face, kind of pulled into a ponytail at this point, and she looks and she gives you a nod and goes, I recognize you. You're that painter, right?
Amongst other things, yeah.
What are you doing in a place like this?
Apparently looking for you.
I dare say Amari or Ringo would want anything with me. As you know, she says that, you kind of note that maybe she does know a little bit more about you than her initial reaction.
I'm looking for someone, and you look to be the kind of person who might know some things.
I see.
This is my friend Evelyn.
She nods, and so I see none of us are drinking our drinks. I assume that's all deliberate.
You seen the state of the olives in this place? I wouldn't risk drinking it after he's put one in it.
Yeah, it smells like Drano to me, and I'm pretty sure even to regular drinkers it probably tastes the same too.
Yeah,
sorry.
This to Vitae. Yeah.
I'm technically on the job right now, but I'm sure I can.
What is your job?
I'm sure you'll figure out soon enough. But let's not spoil our conversation, shall we?
And there I was thinking tonight might be a boring kind of night at the bar, and then Evelyn pulls out a seat and hops up onto it.
I'm sure you've heard of the recent vacated position in the city.
Oh yes, indeed.
Consider me being brought out of retirement.
Should I offer congratulations or condolences?
Maybe a little bit of both. I'd hope to enjoy the rest of my life. And she says life very slowly. relaxing and understanding things a bit more, but, well, I guess that's not the case. Don't know where anyone to run to, though. That, with, the big guys upstairs, you know, having their eyes over pretty much the entire city, either in the commons with the rebels or you're out in the streets dying. Kind of how things go.
I find that if you only see with your eyes, you can be easily blinded.
So, Amari, Mr. Independent, needs no loyalties. What can I do for someone like you?
We're looking for Simon.
You're looking for Balthazar?
Indeed.
Go ahead and just straight up give me a charisma plus persuasion.
Absolutely.
Can I do anything to assist him here?
He's got his all up. You could also do a charisma and persuasion as well if you wanted to kind of double team the please help us out. Or you could even try to like be intimidating if you wanted to. But that would be manipulation plus intimidation.
I think Evelyn's gonna watch and see how Amari does first, but she's definitely ready to get intimidating if
Good
that's
cop,
what
bad
needs to
cop.
happen.
I'm
Excellent.
gonna blow some willpower.
There's a reason it's a trope. It's effective.
That is 8 successes
Awesome.
with a crit.
That's amazing. Yeah, as she thinks it over for a moment, and she goes, I mean, for this information, that would be it's dangerous what the information I could be telling you is. I feel like it would be a pretty, I would need something in return.
What do you want?
Maybe a favor down the road.
Are we playing the Camarilla Boon game?
Of course.
That's not really my style.
Well, then how about an agreement that you just owe me a favor? We don't call it a boon. We don't call it anything else. I give you information, and then eventually down the road, you honor that favor back. And of course, it'll be something in equal terms. I'm not going to ask you to murder anyone. Although for you, that might be something that maybe you don't think that that highly of a favor, to be honest.
Let's slow down on that. I was just going to offer you to take a tour of my boat and maybe some other things, but we'll say a favor is fine.
Of course. Maybe just information for information later on. Actually, you can give me some information now if you've heard of it. But I'll give you what you want to know. So you want to look for Simon,
Indeed.
the last remnant of the Sabbat.
Yeah, we have to make sure that they aren't taking over our city. It would disrupt my business.
Yeah, I've heard the architect has been heavily looking at him, waiting to see him get out of line. He's too volatile, though, from what I heard. Dude's a powder keg and a half. If you're going to find him to talk to him, I wouldn't recommend that.
I feel confident that I can extract a little information without things getting too messy. And if I can't, Evelyn here certainly can.
Interesting. Well, the problem with Simon is that he's always on the move.
That's what we're running into.
Dude's got this huge, like, semi-truck. Him and his boys all use. They just drive around town. Basically, a party Diablo fest.
Wouldn't that be something that they put you on stopping?
I mean, I could if I could find out where they are. I mean, they hunker down somewhere, and the problem is trying to track their schemes, trying to figure out what they're going to do. That's like I'm like a rat in the maze here. Seriously, he's like, you remember that old board game Mousetrap?
Yeah.
Where it took like more ridiculous one thing to another to lead to just the simple task of dropping a cage on a mouse. That's what it is. That's what it feels like anyway. I don't see rhyme or reason to him.
I don't think I caught your name earlier. What was it?
Oh, you can call me Ronnie.
Ronnie. Nice to meet you, Ronnie. So you're coming out of retirement to pick up this vacant role in the middle of all of this stuff happening? That sounds really rough.
It's pretty standard. I mean, to be honest, it's a lot easier than when I was in charge. Before.
That's something.
What were you in charge of before?
I mean, when the last time I was in this role, well, half the city was controlled by, you know, the Black Hand. We weren't really... Our little ivory tower was more of a ivory office.
What are you doing about the person that vacated this role?
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but I mean, you were there in the city around that time. They're dead. They're gone. Ain't no way Masquerade's coming back.
But if Simon is still around, that's a worry, right?
I mean, it's worry. It's like, imagine you have a forest, and the forest has been the site of great fighting. Now the fighting stopped, but there's still landmines in the forest where you can't freely walk around because you're afraid you're going to step out at any moment and just be blown to pieces. That's what Simon is.
So you have no idea how many he's running with, where he is, nothing like that?
I mean, I have some information on that, but I don't think I'd be prepared to share it with you.
Why not?
Because I hardly know you, and you're not someone I need to answer to. No offense. I mean, I dislike you as a person or anything like that. It just how it is. It's very secretive stuff, and trust me, if you want to find Simon, really, you just gotta poke the bear enough, and I'm sure you will. But I mean, if you're able to find that semi-truck, you're pretty much good to go.
Well, here's my thinking. If he's such a loose cannon and so dangerous, it would kind of help you out with coming out of retirement if he wasn't a problem anymore, right? And here's another thing. I know that maybe you don't want to go after him just yet if he's as dangerous as you think, but we need to find him for our own reasons. Maybe you could consider us canaries. We don't come back and report. He's got bigger numbers than you thought. But that's only going to be true and only going to be accurate if you share with us what you know.
You can go ahead and give me a persuasion and charisma, please.
Can I activate or to get some bonus for that?
Of course. It's wild because since you both have all up, you know that no one can hear your conversation because how loud it is, but you know that slowly and surely, like, everyone's eyes in the bar are starting to turn towards you.
I imagine Amari is sort of basking in this. He knows it.
4 successes.
Awesome. She sits for a moment and nods. I mean, I doubt the two of you would be able to really do anything to him. I mean, Amari, you're a long-lived individual, but Simon's, well, he's on a level of his own. He's basically like an elder at this point. But to each their own. If you want to both traverse to the grave, who am I to stop you?
Great.
If Simon likes to park in abandoned areas, usually big places like warehouses, factories, the like. Just get her. There's a good list of them, maybe 13 locations in Philadelphia fitting that size. He's like, I'll write them down for you, and if you find that semi-truck parked in any of one of them, pretty good bet that he's inside. Might take you a few nights to hunker down, but eventually if you catch him once, should be able to track him from there on.
Thanks, Ronnie. We'll let you know what we find.
Of course, but no, it's my turn. My first task is to, well, when you go AWOL, they send the soldiers to bring you back, obviously, right? And take you to court, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
I need information on, well, who was to be my successor, but now is a fleeting individual. I need information on the now ex-sheriff of the Camarilla, Adrestia. Are you familiar?
I know of the ex-sheriff. We've had some run-ins.
Of course you have. I need to have a nice chat with her.
I think I want to do a thing here.
Okay.
I want to mesmerize and tell her that, we've talked about Adrestia, and I've told her I basically cannot possibly find her, but I've investigated it. Like, that's what I want her to think, that we've already talked about this, and I was like, I've given you every bit of information I know.
You're basically going to magically lie yourself out of it. Amazing. I love it. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So just pull it up. So just to kind of get the tools. All right. So you're gonna roll your manipulation plus your dominate.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna roll intelligence plus resolve.
And I am rousing my manipulation.
Okay.
And that is a success. So
Give me 1 second here. Go ahead and make your roll.
2. Seven successes with a crit.
Oh boy. Okay, it's been 6 successes. So you are able to mesmerize her. Awesome. So basically, what is the complex command that you're going to basically say, oh, we've had this conversation before, I don't know anything?
Yeah, so basically I'm just going to tell her that we've talked about this before. As far as information I've looked, because I've looked for Addie, is that either she's dead or she's completely left the city and is off the grid.
Okay. And interesting enough about this power is it's really only a scene long. So eventually when it does fade, it'll be like this conversation kind of never even happened for her. But she does nod and goes, well, if you find out anything else or you hear any inklings that she might return, please let me know.
Of course. Thanks for your help.
Of course. Good luck.
And as I walk out of this place, I'm going to go over to one of the patrons, and I'm going to be like, that guy over there said your mother's a whore. And you know why? Because he made her that way. Good night, old chap.
Wait, you point them to Ronnie?
Oh no, I just point him to another patron
person.
that's
Okay.
like not of their group. Because they said no fighting in here, so I'm like, well, you know, let's see if that stands up.
That is amazing.
And I'll do it with compel if I need to.
No, you go ahead and you say that, and as you're both leaving, you hear you motherfucker, and you just hear a chair being thrown and crashed, and the place just erupts into a brawl as people start screaming, whoa, 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 whoa.
A bar brawl. I didn't think you cared.
That's culture, Evelyn. That is the culture that I live for in these places.
Cool Kindred don't look at bar fights as they walk away. They just... And yeah, from there, you kind of have your information to try and find Simon. You have your list. Evelyn, when you wake up, what do you expect?
The same pile of discarded letters at the door that are growing. I'm expecting that I really should have put away that lasagna before it started stinking the place out. Nothing else.
Mm-hmm. As you come to, you realize you're like, man, that lasagna must already be stinking the place out because it smells horrible where I am. And my bed feels a lot harder and rougher than it did before. Almost like I'm sleeping on dirt. And then you notice that your hands are kind of bound even. As you slowly look in your eyes and you realize you're not in your apartment.
As soon as that realization hits, I kind of, eyes snap open and just start looking around.
You're in, it looks to be like a huge factory almost, with kind of rusty and iron bits and like conveyor belts, old generators that line the wall, and like the coils for like gathering electricity and everything, and wires, but it looks severely decommissioned to the point where it's almost like ancient, but it's not dead, because you can see the various kind of like leather jacket, duster bound people that are just hanging around a la Lost Boys style, just chilling. Like a group of them, about like 20 to 30 actually, are just hanging out on various levels of the factory, because you're kind of in the big open middle area where the floor is, and just this deadly maze of creaking metal and twisting, and you can hear the cheerings as someone goes, "She's waking up! She's waking up!" And everyone starts getting excited, and one lone figure starts to walk towards you.
Wakey, eggs and bakey there. Evelyn, was it?
I don't remember your name.
Don't remember my name. Well, we haven't formally met. I've just been kind of keeping my peepers on you there, dear Evelyn. You can call me Simon. Simon Valkazar to those that don't know me. You know, to my friends call me Simon. I would like to be friends with you, though, Evelyn.
You have a very interesting way of making that clear. I lift my bound wrists.
I'm an interesting person. I don't do anything that's normal or standard.
And kind of as you're saying that, everyone's cheering and going like, "Can we eat her? Come on, boss, let's go. We can do this."
Shut the fuck up!
They kind of shrink away.
I'm sorry, they're really rude. They've just been kind of... You know how if you leave a group of children by themselves in a home for a weekend, it just kind of devolves into things? It's kind of how they are. Just children. Devolving.
Throwing parties, wrecking the house, that kind of thing.
You already know. You already know. Evelyn. Can I call you Evie? Evelyn's so many syllables.
Sure.
Ah, we're already making friends already. This is so delightful. Evie. Do you know who the Sabbat is? Be honest now.
I know some of what the Sabbat is, although I doubt I know all of it. Why?
I think you need to learn a little bit more about what goes on in the night. Not there with those chuckle fucks with their chains on and their tailored suits that hang out in nightclubs and like to pretend like they're special, or those fuckers that hang out in biker bars and like to beat the shit out of each other in alleyways. It's all so trivial and practical. It's not focused. Did you hear that? No, you probably don't. It's fine. So, you've heard about the Sabbat. You kind of know how we go. We act like boogeymen in the night, right? Kind of like that.
Yeah, that's the sum of what I've heard.
You see, that's just some kind of wives' tale, a little fairy tale to kind of keep you little babies afraid in your cribs and everything. You shouldn't be afraid of us. Come on now. Whose blood runs through your veins, Evelyn?
Why would I be afraid of you?
Why would you be? Exactly, that's what I'm saying, Evelyn. Oh, Evie, you and I are going to get along so well. You shouldn't be afraid of me.
Whose blood? Whose blood? Whose blood?
They really want to know whose blood runs through your veins, Evelyn.
Mine.
I can tell you, it certainly ain't your blood that's going through your veins now there, baby girl. You've drank before, right? I mean, obviously you're here. You're not all feral and white. You're not ravenous. You've drank before.
Uh-huh.
Somebody else's blood, right? Did you kill Evie?
What difference does it make to you?
It makes a world of difference. Tells me exactly whose blood running in your veins right now. So tell me, when you awoke and your new sire, whatever they like to call themselves, sat down with you, told you the ins and outs of how this world works, did he tell you where you came from? Or did he keep it shrouded in secret? No, don't worry about it. Don't do this, don't go out in the light. Don't talk to these people. When you come to this city, make sure you present yourself to this person. Make sure you go and you do the song and dance and everything like that. Or did he tell you exactly what was going on?
I didn't wake up in some cushy apartment being told how to behave and being fed my fucking meals. I crawled out of the earth like the rest of us do.
Shovelhead, and it's cacophonous.
You're just like me. See, you and I were in the same position a long time ago. Let me tell you, it's a long time ago. You were probably barely even a baby sucking on a teat or anything like that. You were just a sparkle in the cosmos at that point. You weren't even a drop of a thought in your daddy or mama's eyes. I woke up the same way you did. Dragging, piercing myself out. You come along and you meet these people that ask you, they say, who are you? Who do you stand with? Are you Malkavian? Bruja? Are you, what clan are you? Clan, such a dirty word. You know what I tell them? You know what I tell them what I am? From the world of darkness, I loose demons and devils and the power of scorpions to torment. I'm the shadow in the night. The blood of Caine flows through my veins. I'm a child of Caine, just like you.
Caine, 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 Caine.
No gods, no masters, no angels or demons on your shoulders. Just that power that runs through your veins. This tells me that you have a lot to learn.
Tells me you do too. Why should it matter who I drank from to wake up if the blood that runs through my veins is Caine's?
So you know exactly who to go kill for doing this to you. That's the only way you're going to rise up. Sensei has to fall before the student. That's the only way you're going to get any crumb of power in this night.
Is that what you did?
I am the devil, and I've come to do the devil's work, my friend. That is exactly what I did. I ripped and teared through mindless cretins. I committed unspeakable acts of murder. I'm a barbarian. I'm in 600 BC, and I'm ripping, and I'm gnawing and gnashing through villages. But I'm also a tailor, defty, handy with a needle. Do you know who's here? In this city right now?
Narrow it down.
There's someone that's older than even I. Someone that's older than the very stones that lay the cobble and the most ancient streets in the center city. Someone that's older than the grandmothers, the nonas that have been here since the days of immigration, coming over in ferries, boats. Disgusting.
She doesn't have a black mark on her soul. Sir, she doesn't have the money.
Calm down. I could smell it on you. Have you ever taken another kind?
Taken?
Drank.
No.
Devoured. Diablerized is what they call it. I can tell. Look, it's the one thing I don't like about you, Evie, is that you're not willing to do what needs to be done to protect yourself. Have you ever been put into a position where somebody has lorded themselves over you just because they're older than you? Because they have more things than you?
That's an interesting question from someone who has me bound on the floor of his warehouse surrounded by his lackeys. Do you want to rephrase that?
I'm just trying to get to know you here, Evie. I'm going to let you go as soon as you're good and ready, but I gotta make sure that you're not gonna try and do something stupid now.
I don't think these are good odds for stupid.
You are so smart. I'm so proud. He pulls a Bowie knife out from his back, from a scabbard, and then puts it on the concrete and starts spinning it around. Grabs it. I'll unbind you if you promise that you're going to play nice.
Promise not to play bad.
That's what I like to hear. Old friend of mine, named Olga, gave me this. He points to a scar from here. Taper. I keep it there just as a reminder. Some friends, they just don't like to play nice, you know? Gotta cut the binds.
You were free.
Thank you.
Are your wrists all right? They're not too raw or anything like that. Do you need a snack? How do you take it?
I'm in the habit at the moment of learning how I should be taking it. You seem to have opinions on that. What's yours?
Well, myself, you know me. It's, I don't know. Something witchy. Something that, likes to manipulate things, you know, use the fingers to draw lines in the cosmos, connect the dots. That's kind of how I prefer it. Used to be I took it from a bag, you know, it was just much more convenient, but you know him. He's inside each of us, and he pulls, and he pulls, and he pulls. Then it was truckers, miscreants, deviants, but now, something witchy.
Tells me to go for the unsuspecting.
You just let me know if you get hungry, dear, all right? And you're not in too much pain, right?
No. Should I be?
Well, you say that like it's a bad thing. Pain's not bad, my dear. It's good. It teaches you things, all right? Lets you know exactly what you can handle.
And as you look around, Evelyn, you can see that the group, the night division, as it were, they're kind of getting closer and closer, like inching forward, almost like hungry animals.
Are you aware of who the ND is? The night division. Have you heard of us?
I think I've heard the name mentioned.
Mentioned. Somebody's not doing their due diligence. They're not keeping up to their part of the bargain.
I take it that's...
All of us. Yep. Now you may be saying to yourself, oh, this guy talks a lot. Goodness, and he has all of his cronies around him and everything like that. But you're lucky it was me. I wanted to handle this personally. I could have had Cletus over there handle it. Cheryl would have taken care of it. You see, none of us are a leader. They call me a Sabbat lord. A lord? I hold no lands. I take no titles. I am what I am.
Sounds like Cammy shit. One of them goes.
Sounds like Cammy shit.
And you can kind of see scrawl on the walls as you kind of adjust to it now, Evelyn. Your eyes looking. You can see kind of graffitied on. You see "fuck the architect" written across the wall in like huge spray painted letterings. A bunch of expletives. Some not so nice stick figures in some not so nice positions.
You ever been to this part of town, Evelyn? Or in the South?
I've been close, but not farthest south, I suppose, no.
Mm-hmm. There's nobody that we don't want running around here that hang around out here, if you understand. You catch my drift.
I understand. Particular
good to keep
visitors you
count.
don't want me bringing?
There's some I can think of. That bitch Angelica. That loudmouth Dimitri. Have you met them yet?
No, I don't think I have.
Good. Keep them away from me. You know what's good for you. Don't tell them about me either. I don't like it when they hear about what I'm doing, the things that I'm making sense of. They're like siblings. They just like to bicker with each other. Just like to bring me into their horse shit.
Which begs the question, why exactly are you bringing me into your horse shit?
You can do a lot for me, Evelyn. You see, when people spend a certain amount of time out here in the night, you know what happens? They start getting ideas. They start forming. It's like a newborn baby. You start seeing things. You're learning things. You have people push into you. They let you know exactly what you have to do. And I don't want that. I don't want that. When I want people in my ranks, I don't do the whole shovel head or the mass takeover or anything like that. I just like to take you by your cheek. I like to look at you and say, do you want to be something more than what you are already? And if they say yes, then I give it to them. All right? You're useful because you're not tainted.
Tainted?
Tainted.
Tainted by what?
By ideals. By idolatry. By bigotry. Think of an ism, and that's what people are tainted by.
You mean I'm young and uncomplicated?
Impressionable. Yes, exactly. Like a blank canvas.
Last time I checked, impressionable wasn't a compliment.
Well, whoever told you that's a goddamn idiot. Impressionable means useful.
And what is it you want me to do for you then?
Pulls out a coin, starts dancing it between his fingers. I want you to work with us. But you got to prove yourself. I'm working on a little something, a little bit of a test, you see? Because you can't just have just anybody here in the group, all right? Ricardo over there, he's a revolutionary and he's got ideals, but they're separate from everything else. You know, it's just very implanted from when he was younger, before he was kind. And he tells me all the time, he's like, Simon, we can't just let anybody in here, all right? That's how things went down south, you know? Things went bad for him. So he's very... So I do it to try to appease him. But I've been working on a little something. Like a little haunted house, let's call it. You ever been to a haunted house before, Evelyn?
Yeah, I've been to a few.
Yeah. Just think of it like that. Little haunted house or something like that. Nothing too bad, nothing too dangerous at all.
That was almost convincing. Try again.
Boss.
Yeah.
Damn. And he holds out this like crumpled note. Evelyn, you recognize it as the list that you and all the rest of the pack had on you of the people you were trying to talk to, the 4 Sabbat members, as it were. Look, Dimitri, Angelica, you, boss, and Viper's on the list.
Oh, did you feel that? Give me that shit. You feel that chill when he said a name? Was that just me? Viper. Ugh. You have to respect somebody that's willing to take a nom de plume, don't you? Why are you... Why are you here? Dangerousness. That's what we're talking about. I'm getting distracted right now. I'm getting distracted by names. I want you to be a little bird for me, and I want you to prove that you can handle whatever they're going to throw at you, okay? When I said it's not going to be too dangerous, I lied, and you saw right through it, and that's okay. That's fine. But I think... once you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, and I think your other friends will agree, y'all are different from them. You're different from me, which is a good thing. I have to tell myself that those that are different from me are a good thing. It's good to have variety, all right? You don't want to... have too much sameness in the pot. Things get twisted. I want you to be equal with everybody else standing here in this room. I want you to be equal. I want you to feel confident and be equal with everybody that you walk outside with. You brush shoulders with Primogen. He spits. I want you to walk into a room with somebody and be able to feel confident that you deserve to be there.
And kind of in the middle of your discussion, you hear cowbells begin to ring. As Amari and Javier, we cut to the outside and they approach the old abandoned Delaware power plant. And Amari, you can see a huge semi-truck parked in its lot.
So this is the place.
Seems like it. Think she's in there?
I know she's in there. I just don't know exactly what Simon wants, but I suspect we'll find out.
And you walk up to the doors, and we cut back inside to where Simon and Evelyn are, and the bells are just going off.
Actually, before
I
make a call to one of my retainers, and I say, listen, things might get hairy at this address. If so, send the beast.
Are you sure, sir?
If you get the message, and I'll send you a specific text, you know the one, bring it.
Of course. And we come back inside.
You know what that sound is, Evie? The cavalry's arrived. They really do care about you, don't they? I believe you might be muted.
Yep.
I am muted. Let's try that again. You want me to feed you back information about what? Why?
I just want to know what's going on in this city. Evelyn, you know how it feels to be wandering around these streets and not knowing what parties are going on and where to be invited? I've got a lot of plans, all right? And before I can give you privy information to them, I got to know that we can work together.
Okay. I'll keep you up to date of any invites I get. How do I let you know?
He's going to pull out a little red stone in between two fingertips. And you go, just keep this on you. That's it. I can do the rest.
What is it?
This is a bloodstone. Oh shit, they haven't even told you the basics, have you? The 101s. I got this little trick here when I slurped up a former archbishop. Pretty nice, isn't it? All you have to do is keep this little thing on you, and I kind of know where you're going, who you're talking to, where you're hanging around, you know? Gives me context. All you gotta do is keep it in your pocket, put it in your shoe, wear it as an earring. Oh, that would be so nice. You have such perfect ears to wear earrings. Mine, and he kind of shows his, and his is a little bit gnarled at the ends. Never been too good with earrings.
See what I can do with it.
Isn't she just a peach, everybody?
One of us. Run the race. Let us eat.
Gotta run the race.
Run the race, run the race, run the race for the master. Run the race.
Hey! Don't use that M word around here. He's gonna delicately hand over the bloodstone to you. What comes next, Evelyn, is gonna be kind of scary, but it's fine. Your friends are gonna come in here. They're gonna bust down the door. They're probably gonna posture a little bit, but don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. I kind of want to see what they're made of too, just a little bit.
What are you going to do?
Oh, me? He points up to a catwalk. I'm gonna do what I do best, Evie. I'm gonna orate, and I'm gonna watch. And he kind of starts backing off. Storyteller, I would love to use my discipline of Earth Meld, if I might.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and bring up the specifics here real quick so I don't mess up. That'd be very embarrassing. Came all this way. All right, cool. It is going to be a rouse check.
Mm-hmm.
And I get hungrier. And but no test is required. So, and you just see Simon step back. There's a pillar behind him, a concrete pillar, and he just kind of folds in with it.
And the rest of the you hear the doors behind you, Evelyn, begin to open, and the night division gets a little bit closer as one of them holds out kind of this overlarge like kind of alarm clock, and he twists it. It started 10 seconds.
You see Simon has ended up on the catwalk, and he goes, "You're gonna have to run the race, Evelyn. Everybody has to do it. Maybe your friends are gonna have to as well. So that door's gonna open right there, and you're gonna have to be chased by the night division. I want to see how good them legs can run. There's gonna be some obstacles in your path. I'm sorry, but everybody's got to do it. But since because I like you and we had such a great conversation, I'm gonna give you a 10-second head start. All right, darling? 10. 9.
Evelyn turns towards him before she runs, and she lifts up the bloodstone into the air and puts it straight into her mouth and swallows it, and then turns to run.
8.
Go.
You get closer.
Yeah, she runs.
Okay, go ahead and give me keep counting down, Wes. Go ahead.
7.
Give me a dexterity plus athletics, please.
Okay,
6.
I am blood surging as well.
Okay.
5. 4.
Bestial failure.
3.5.
And you're running and running. What's the first obstacle that she runs into as we get closer to 1?
It is a very clear shot that you can see for the first part that looks like towards the end of this factory. It's not. It's just a painted wall. Like it's an Acme cartoon. A painted wall. So you got to kind of find a way around that.
Take 2 points of bashing as you don't realize it, and because you have the bestial failure, you smash into it and embed yourself into the wall as you hear 2.
I let out like a huge scream of rage, like pound my fist against it and turn to run again.
1.
And you hear down the hallway, like from the room you're originally in, you hear a howl as they take off into every which direction. And some of them come down the path after, are coming down the path after you, but some of them take off into the side areas. As go ahead and give me another dexterity plus athletics, please.
So I blood surged again. That's 2 failed blood surges. I'm on hunger 3, and I rolled 1 success.
As you're running, and as you kind of go down the hallway, you see off the sides there are boarded up areas, and you just miss as a hand comes right through one of the boarded like window, like side areas, and tries to grab you, and just barely misses your shirt and your hair.
Whew, that was a close one.
And
I survey the area and just sort of like, trying to focus and saying to myself, I've got to think smarter than this. I've never been a good runner. I've got to think smarter, and I'm looking around for places I can climb instead. I'm not fast, but I'm spry.
Give me a wits plus awareness, because this is going to be just like a quick, like what you see in the. As they're like rats in a maze. One success. You see tubing that goes, pipes that go upwards. You could probably ascend as well if you wanted to.
Yep, I'm going straight up there.
And you start climbing, and you feel your hands and your nails kind of break into the metal. And for any normal person, this would probably just snap them clean off, but you're able to kind of dig into it. And you see as kind of like screen, like in the sides, like within the factory itself, on some of the other like pipes and stuff, you can see members of the night division just are climbing the side, trying to get on the same level as you as well. And you can hear Simon's voice resounding through the factory.
Hey there, Evelyn. So I see that you noticed there's a way to supersede parts of my obstacle course here, but don't worry, we have something just special up there for you, darling. Don't you worry. Remember, pain's not bad, it's good, Evelyn.
And what's waiting up there?
You see, up in the rafters, it has been completely metal welded into it so that it looks like in laboratories where they have a rat trap kind of deal where you have to take left and right and stuff like that. It's kind of set up like that, but there's random murder holes where hands can grab in and grab, and then there's also, you notice there are mouse traps on the ground as well.
Go ahead and give me another dexterity plus athletics, as you kind of use this way to navigate a little bit better ground. And I'll let you get a +1 for being able to find yourself up here.
Okay.
As we cut really quick again to Amari and Javier, who are starting to kind of walk inside as they hear the cacophony going on from within the factory.
As Amari is walking in here, he's in vicissitude, and I'll roll while y'all are doing this thing. Amari has changed his hands into essentially bone claws. So now instead of just hands, it's just long bone, like fingers hanging off of them now. So essentially I just get 2 extra damage if I have to roll the damage roll. But it looks like these long, foot-long fingers off of him.
And you look like the most badass posse there is, as you have your long bone claw fingers, and next to you, Javier has these the arms of Aramon just seething off of him, about like 3 on each end that are just kind of looking around what he's feeling around. You can see the area you're in, the entrance hall, is this big metal kind of almost like waiting area that seems to be like completely locked, but you hear something like a noise is kind of rushing towards all of you, like several little noises. And we cut back to Evelyn. What was your successes or failures?
4 successes.
Awesome. This time you manage to kind of avoid. You end up stepping on a few of those mouse traps, and it hurts. But you know you're a Canaanite. It's not going to injure you. But you fight through the pain as you can hear drills and the sounds of like power tools being worked as people are trying to. People are trying to break through the murder holes, and like even some of the night division are trying to squeeze through it to get to you, and they're just intending and they're breaking their arms as they are just rabid. They don't examine after seeing most of the Cainites you've seen before, who are more regal, elegant, maybe had more pride in being a vampire. These things they're just given over to their beasts completely. It feels like.
feel like with every mouse trap that she triggers, she sort of curses and hisses and sort of will, if it catches on her, launch it wherever she can, straight any gaps and just going.
Oh yeah, and you definitely catch a few people in the face with that. And kind of what's working against them as well is that they're all trying to get you, so they're literally bounding into each other and trying to squeeze past each other, and that's beginning to slow them down. Go ahead and give me one more dexterity plus athletics.
Three successes.
Awesome. You manage to kind of you clear into what looks to be a one last final hallway and kind of spray painted on there. You see the idea, you see kind of on the wall, it just says, face your fears. And the doors behind you, you can hear the rest of the night division starting to coalesce and are starting to come through, are all going to be funneled in through this one last area. And at the very end of it, you see Simon there is a straight shot to the exit to light.
So along the corridor, and Simon is between me and the exit. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Simon's not stopping. He's leaning against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And
I keep moving.
Mm-hmm. What's so special about this room, Simon, or this hallway?
This hallway is pristine. It's clean, like it's been purified over and over again. But you can smell gasoline. That's the most standout thing about this room.
Here we go again.
All right, now, darling. I don't want you to get too angsty. You did really well. You skipped most of the major traps and things that I had for you, which is just your resourcefulness is it's something to be admired, really. But there's just one more thing that stands in between you and me, and this exit right here. And he knocks on the door.
And Amari and Javier, you hear the knock on the door, and you can hear Simon probably monologuing as well.
Mm-hmm. Before we go, I would like to utilize Mesmerize on Evie.
Okay. So, Evelyn, I'm going to need you to roll an intelligence plus resolve check for me, please.
Okay.
Manipulate plus dominate.
Sounds like a lot of dice.
Okey-dokey. Got 5 successes.
I also got 5 successes.
Whew.
A crit, 2 10s and a 9.
Nice.
And you did not crit, right, Simon?
No, I only had 1.
Okay, then I will say that because of the crit, Evelyn is going to be able to resist it. As you feel something pulling at your mind, Evelyn, you can physically feel almost like someone trying to sink fingers into your brain and grasp a hold of it, but you're able to shake off the feeling.
That was the easy way out. I'm sorry, Evelyn. You did good, though. You're really strong. Look, there's only one thing you have to do, and you got to get out this door right now, and the only thing that stands in between you and that door is me. But I like to leave things up to chance and fate. So, and he reaches in his pocket, and he pulls out a match, and he goes, some people have you do a fire dance. I kind of want you to do a run of faith. You're not really leaping. You dig?
I think I understand.
And Simon's just gonna light the match and just drop it at his feet.
And the whole area turns into an inferno as fire begins to lick and spread, and the night division who get to the entrance of the hallway suddenly stop and watch and start cheering as they dare not take a step closer. And Evelyn, go ahead and give me a frenzy check.
Okay.
I've also got to do a stamina plus resolve check for you there, storyteller.
Go ahead. And Amari, it suddenly gets a lot hotter.
So we know they're on the other side of this door.
Oh yeah, you can hear them.
I'm gonna try to open it.
Yep, it's a big ass metal door, but you know you might have to both work at it. But definitely go ahead and give me, I guess a strength plus larceny. Well, that or athletics if you want.
Let me see. I think I have points in larceny, not in athletics. So, actually, I don't have points in any of those.
Oh,
no
boy.
physical skills. So I'm going to rouse for strength to get me some extra dice on that,
And
I get hungrier, of course.
and Javier joins and launches his arms, and he's like, trying to help you pry the door open.
Two of these.
I got 9 successes, by the way, storyteller.
Awesome. You are able to stand amongst this fire. Although if you don't get out of the hallway, you might start burning.
I'm going to start walking towards Evelyn.
One success.
With the combined might of the two of you, you begin to slowly peel the doorway, but it's not completely like, because you're not trying to open it, you're literally just breaking the door off its hinges now. So you're hearing the metal screech, and everyone in the area can hear it.
Looks like they're here. I'm going to start walking towards Evelyn, and then once I get towards Evelyn, I'm just going to stand, like shoulder to shoulder. I'm facing the opposite direction towards the night division, and I'm just going to hand over a vial of dirt. Goes. Little parting gift. Something to remember this by. Just want you to remember, Evie, you're real strong. The thing is about that strength, you don't have to prove that to the phonies. And he's going to look back over his shoulder towards the door. And he's just going to walk into the night division. Just kind of walk into their mass.
I don't know if it's this different situation. The fire dance was easy, but this isn't. And between the fire and the dirt and the noise behind me, it's terrifying. I rolled no successes.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to be the only time I ask you this because I think it's thematically appropriate. Do you fail because you actively try to resist frenzying and you don't? Or do you fail because you just realize it's time to just give in for once?
I think at this time, I don't see any other way out than to just let go and run. This isn't like the fire dance. This isn't a controlled situation. This is a building with people behind me, and I don't know what ahead. And every time I've gone round a corner so far in this building, there's been another trap. And I think I'm tired of trying to think about it.
And so you give into your frenzy, which is a little bit different than failing your frenzy, which is you still remain control of your character. And with it, you have two options, fight or flee. So what do? Are you going to make the run of faith and just hopefully clear the other side?
Yeah, she's going to run straight ahead, but it's not necessarily because she's thinking about it as flee. It's just that's the direction she's facing.
All right, give me one last strength plus, or dexterity plus athletics. And because you're frenzying and you're trying to escape, you're going to get an additional 3 dice.
Okay. 3 successes.
And Amari, give me one more strength plus larceny.
Okay. 2 successes.
And with the combined strength of both yourself and Javier, you manage to pry the door open as Evelyn begins her final mad dash through it. And Evelyn, you're fast and you're strong, and you rage through, launching yourself through the end of the hallway. But it is not without harm. You avoid the most of it, but you're still going to take 1 point of aggravated damage as the fire is going to lick and severely burn your arm that singes it.
Okay.
But you do not incur any more penalties or damage as you clear, and you do not alight a flame as you clear the final hallway and land basically almost on top of Amari and Javi. And the three of you can look back and see Simon at the other end of the hallway with the rest of the Night Division.
You're not in Wonderland anymore, Alice. I'm so proud.
Fucking psychopath, Javi says.
I don't think Evelyn even stops when she barrels into Amari and Avi. I think
just keep
she's
going?
straight back up onto her feet and she carries on. She tries to carry on.
And Amari just stares at Simon and says, eventually, we are going to talk, one way or the other.
You know where my office is there. All you gotta do is, and he makes the international symbol for tooting a horn.
And you hear the horn of the semi-truck outside go.
And they say, I'm extra.
And Javier kind of looks at you, Simon, and goes, a fucking disgrace. That's what you are.
He's still useful, Javi. He's still useful.
I know. God damn it.
We just have to speak his language, and that's difficult. But I think Evelyn here will be able to help us with that in the future.
And then you turn to look where Evelyn might be, but then she is gone. She's just gone.
Hopefully she'll finally actually eat the Sabbat way.
And there's this kind of, I just feel like there's kind of this stare down between Simon and Amari as the flames just kind of coalesce more until it gets so much that you just can't see each other anymore. And the rest of the Night Division just begin to slink back into the shadows.
I really hate other kindred.
You're telling me.
That word too. Why do I use that?
Canaanites. Canaanites.
I spent too much time near the Ivy Tower.
Fuck. How are we gonna get ourselves together if we're just gonna keep fighting like this? Ugh. Simon's worse than the Camarilla, I swear to God.
He's closer to the beast than many of us. And I think we'll have to give in to that a little bit.
When Olga was here, they had him on a short leash. Not anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck. Well, I don't know what this means. We can count on his participation with the rest of the others. But I guess that means you only have one more left to find.
And before I leave, I just say, tag, you're it now, motherfucker.
And I think at that point, the rest of the Night Division, before Simon says anything, you hear collective, oh, like, And they're actually like cheering. They like that.
I can't wait to dance with you, Amari. It's gonna be so fun. I hope you bring your dancing shoes.
And I think for our final scene of the night, we cut to Evelyn. Do you run anywhere particular, or are you just going and going?
I think I run until I can't smell the smoke anymore. And then I start to feel calmer. But it takes a little while just because of it clinging to my clothes and my nostrils from running straight through it. So I go a little way away, and it's kind of only when the fear subsides that I start to slow down, but not necessarily just because the fear is subsiding, but because the hunger's taking over and I hurt. It grazes and burns, and my stomach is growling in a way I don't think I've ever felt before.
And rain begins to pour as you find yourself just in a random part of town that you've never been before. As you leave, I believe the Delaware plant is over in like the Fishtown area, so you find yourself close to the harbor and the river of the Schuylkill, and this black murky water, and just various boats and yachts, kind of honestly very close to where Amari is located, like his yacht to feed. But there are plenty of people that are still out and about. There's plenty of youth as you kind of stumble onto this pier that you've known this. It's called Graffiti Pier. And it's a place where these youth like to hang out at night, and like these artists. But tonight, there only seems to be a handful of them, and they're fairly isolated on here. And their blood, it smells so good.
I didn't like feeling weak. I didn't like feeling out of control. I didn't like losing. So what's going through my head right now is not just I'm hungry. It's I want to win. Then I can rest tonight. I scan the pier for anyone on their own and in the shadows.
And you do find one. Someone that's making a tag at the very end.
Perfect. I barely even pause.
And you go for them. And it's easy too. You pin them against the very wall they're painting on, and you just sink your teeth and drink. How much do you take?
I think I take all of it.
And you begin to drink, and you drink, and you drink, and you drink. And as you take beautiful mouthfuls, and the vigor just fills you, it feels amazing. It tastes so good. And in your head, your beast purrs in satisfaction as you finally give in. You finally give it what it truly needs. And the question I have for you, Evelyn, is the words that Simon said. Sure, he pissed you off, but do you feel like there was truth to his madness? Was there method to it?
I think every night since this happened, I've been learning new truth in madness. It's just another mad phrase that has some truth to it. And what I've got to figure out for myself is whether or not it's true for me.
And as you kind of look around, you think to yourself, after meeting Dimitri, meeting Simon, and meeting Viper, 3 different takes for 3 different people, and you're sure the last one as well won't be any different from the others, that they'll do the same thing. over and over again, and you'll learn new directions, new point of views. But funny enough, as you think of the three you met before, who do you find yourself aligning with the most in their ideals?
I think for all the fault I can find in Ideal, and for all the challenge it presents, at least I understand Simon. I don't understand the others.
So of all the paths ahead of you, the path you choose to forge, the path of Caine. And as you drop and the person drops, you look and you see someone you know, someone that you once talked to, someone that you admired in the scene, a friend, a confidant. They barely have enough time to register who their killer is before the last light leaves their eyes. And where you might feel guilt, if you feel guilt at all, it's quickly sated by the sense of fullness. And all that's left is a quick kick of the body as it goes tumbling into the harbor. Evelyn, do you feel like a true Canaanite?
I certainly don't feel human.
And to you, is that good or bad?
It's good.
Some would call you a monster. But to be honest, you're just the next stage. And I think that's a perfect place to end our chapter tonight. I want to thank all my players and my special guest star, Wes, for joining us on this beautiful day. And something that has begun to be a little bit of tradition on my other games that I would like to do is on the count of 3, just everyone take a deep breath and to settle out of the game mode. So 1, 2, and then I'll starting with my guest star, please tell them where they could find you, tell them who you are, and other projects you got coming up.
Hi there, my name is Wes Franks. I'm the founder and creative director of Carrying Comfort Studios. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be able to play Vampire the Masquerade again. It's been a long time since I've been able to do that. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for bringing me on here, Nick, and thank you for allowing me to play with y'all, Prince and Lily. It was a true joy. You can follow me at Twitter at BrotherXWes, or you can follow Carrying Comfort Studios at Comfort Carrying on Twitter. There you'll get the full spiel of everything that's running down, all that good stuff. You'll see Nick on stuff. You'll see me on stuff. We have a lot of great projects coming up, including Camp Half-Blood of Percy Jackson and the Olympians based game. And we've got our Lancer, which is a mech TTRPG system, our Lancer game that is Mezzanine Alpha. Each season I pick a different album and we run through the album tracks as if it's a story. I kind of write a story around the album. So yeah, that's the stuff that has coming up. So yeah, go ahead and check us out there. YouTube, all that good stuff. Twitch. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And now for our cast.
Go for it, Lily.
Okay. I'm Lily. I've been playing Evelyn today. You can find me on Lily the GM on Twitter and on Twitch. I'm currently between stories. We're taking a little break right now, but hopefully we'll be back very soon running Vampire the Masquerade on Adventure Tavern. Yeah, otherwise, more projects coming soon, I hope.
And I'm Prince, aka Doubles of Dice around the internet. That's you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and most of the places where, people exist to be talked to. You can also find me over at my sister station, Roland D's 20s, on Twitch as well, where I am the storyteller for Vampire the Masquerade Philly by Night on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I am also a player in one of our other campaigns, which is a Cyberpunk Red campaign, where we are a trauma team, and my character is a rocker boy who should not be anywhere near anything medically related. Over on my channel, probably coming up in November, I am working on putting together a new Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle myself. And the Saturday, I don't know, depending on when this comes out, you might already be out, but the 16th of October, there will be over on Zerjester's channel, I will be in a one-shot for Halls of the Toymaker for Dungeons and Dragons, and that is going to be another horror-themed game. So lots of stuff coming up. Keep an eye on my Twitter for all of the excitement.
Awesome. And I was your storyteller tonight, Nick Francia. You can find me at Nobleman Nick. While this is my good friend Rena's channel, you can usually find me over on Gehenna Gaming as the producer and event manager. Other than that, because it's probably going to be airing early November, the only thing I'll have going on is that we'll have Gehenna Academy should be at its final couple episodes, so definitely text us that Monday. It's our Monster Arts game. It's a lot of fun. It's great. It's college kids instead of teenagers, so we tend to go a little bit harder on it, but just a barrel of fun. Also, we'll be hopefully starting to pre-record my Evangelion actual play series, so I'm very excited for that as well. But other stuff that you can find over here on Rita's channel is the Call of the Abyss, City of Sinners and Saints, loads of other vampire content. Rena has decked out some amazing chronicles, and you can also find more of them on youtube.com/theouvulard. And we'll probably drop that in chat, hopefully, when this finally airs. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much again for Rita for letting me do this awesome chronicle on here. And everyone have a great night.